Hi, my name is Suri Crow, and you're watching the MeidasTouch Network. All right. Do you want to know what paid political opposition looks like? I'll show you. I recently saw this analogy in a piece. I think it was in The Lever, which is a fantastic outlet if you have a chance to start reading it. It was about the Harlem Globetrotters. I don't even know if they play anymore, but the team they always played was the Washington Generals, and the Generals were paid to lose. Here's a photo of one of the Harlem Globetrotters literally pantsing one of the Generals, kind of like the WWE. It's entertainment, and the opposing team, or the opposing player or wrestler is paid to lose to make the other side look good. They're paid to look like they're trying, but in the end, they're going to lose. Okay. So here's what this looks like in the political arena. Here's Jack Cocherella. He's a Gen Z creator, influencer, and he's asking Hakeem Jeffries about his donations from Palantir.
At a fundraiser of yours recently, of someone asking about money, it's about $44,000. It's your victory fund from a Palantir executive. Do you think Democrats should be taking that money from the groups that are allowing Donald Trump to carry out this chaos on our country?
Well, we'll definitely look into that issue. And, I've raised north of $20 million over the last few years. The average contribution is about $27 per donation. So I'm very proud of that fact. But, my view is we're going to continue to raise money from grassroots Americans.
But should we then, when we come across those, if you did come across the $44,000, would you just say, okay, well, we're raising lots of money as Democrats, Republicans are struggling.
Yeah, listen, I'm
give that back.
I'm absolutely happy to look into it. And as I've done in many other instances where appropriate, donate money to charity.
Mm-hmm. Because I just think that right now, like you're talking about, we're kind of, what has been months after month after month of winning elections, Democrats on the rise. And I just think that right now, when we want to make sure that the Democrats that we're backing are those who are going to be fighting and taking on these corporate interests, these oligarchs who are doing Donald Trump's bidding and making lots of profits off of it. Is that a commitment that you then want to make?
Yeah, without question. And by the way, we're in the middle of a fight right now, which is a very important one, to push back against DHS and all of their enablers.
Yeah.
So I'm very comfortable, making it clear that, as Democrats in charge, if the American people give us that privilege, that we'll continue to stand our ground, stand on the side of the American people, and of course, push back against the extremism that's being unleashed by ICE, DHS, and all the related entities.
Okay, well, what I see is a lot of hand gesturing, a lot of moving around, and what I'm hearing is a lot of word salad from Hakeem Jeffries. And what I don't hear is, yes, Jack, I will commit to no longer taking Palantir money, and I will stop taking money from AIPAC. I will stop taking money from the same hands that are enabling and building a fascist dictatorship under Donald Trump and JD Vance. Here's a clip from another interview a few weeks ago where Wajahat Ali really held Hakeem's feet to the fire, and boy, he didn't like it.
ICE has a history. CPP has a history of terrorizing Black and brown communities. People are asking themselves, why are we, our taxpayer dollars, paying for masked, lawless men to terrorize our communities, kidnap people, take children, and kill Americans? So I ask you, and I'm doing a following up to Joy, because I want an answer to this. You said you want to rein in ICE. I'm talking about the long term now. Why not lead and say abolish ICE? Because what you're telling us is you want our taxpayer dollars to pay for a lawless masked armed agency to continue terrorizing our cities. And I'm trying to figure out how you, as a leader, can be telling Americans that their taxpayer dollars should be going to ICE.
I don't understand anything that you just said.
I spoke English.
I don't understand anything that you've just said to me when I've made clear that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not brutalize or kill them. That's the whole reason we're in this fight right now. That's the whole reason the DHS is getting ready to shut down. That's
so
the whole
abolish
reason
ICE.
why
you agree with me and Joy. Abolish ICE.
Listen, I'm going to use the language that I want to use. You can use the language that you want to use. And the language that I'm using right now relates to these type of bold, meaningful, dramatic changes that are designed to save lives right now in communities that look like the ones that I represent. And that's the goal.
Now, I have played that clip before, and I love it because Hakeem's like, I don't understand a word you're saying. And Wajahat says, I'm speaking English. Like, it's just hilarious because Wajahat's like, he's unbothered. But see how defensive Hakeem gets? That's because he is completely compromised and he just got called out. He got called out. He's lying. He's dancing. He's bobbing and weaving. He's bought and paid for. Let me show you something. All right. I don't know who this is, Gen X girl, but she posted this recently. Matthew Eady, who is a reporter, and he did this great reporting back in October, recently discovered how AIPAC is hiding its donations using 3 campaigns for Hakeem Jeffries, aka AIPAC Shakur. And by the way, that hilarious nickname, I believe, was given to Jeffries by Charlemagne the God, which I just think is very funny. I created a graphic to help you understand how the secret campaigns are structured and why you won't be able to see AIPAC in Federal Elections Commission's filings, the FEC. But AIPAC will still be able to track donations through unique IDs and show candidates how much their network has donated to buy pro-Israel votes. And here is that graphic, how AIPAC is hiding pro-Israel donations. This is so slick. AIPAC directs its donors to the pro-Israel network website via email campaigns. So these donors get these emails. Pro-Israel Network uses Democracy Engine as its payment processor. So you're like, oh, it's Democracy Engine. All right. Donations are recorded as individual donations from Democracy Engine in the back end. So that's how they show up on the FEC donations chart. That's how they're recorded. Each pro-Israel network campaign is recorded with a unique ID. So that is how AIPAC is hiding its donations. Super shady. So you're not able to necessarily know that Democracy Engine donations are actually coming via AIPAC. Now, back to Hakeem and others receiving money from Palantir. This is so dangerous, you guys. Palantir is a state surveillance outfit, literally spying on all of us right now, that is owned and operated by oligarch Peter Thiel, who is a South African immigrant with German roots, who is a literal Nazi. I shit you not. He doesn't believe in democracy. He's on record as saying that, period, anti-democracy, wants to dismantle and destroy it. Thiel hates poor people, even though he's made billions of dollars off of us, we the working people. And he installed JD Vance. He literally bought and paid for JD Vance to be Trump's vice president. So why in the flying fuck would the leaders of the so-called opposition party, the Democrats, be on the take from Palantir unless they are fascist collaborators, unless they are working with the enemy like the Washington generals they are paid to lose? And why are so many in the Democratic Party taking money from AIPAC? When the autopsy report that the DNC got after the Harris-Walz loss showed them that Biden's support of Israel's genocide in Gaza was a major reason why people didn't vote for Kamala, according to reporting by Axios. Talk about shooting ourselves in the foot. Like, oh, we're just gonna try to lose again. So why did so many young people check out of what the corporate Democrats had to offer? Well, along those same lines, I recently sat down with Carlos Calzadilla Palacio, who is the founder of Disrupt. This is a left-wing movement that is the counterpoint to Turning Point USA, reaching out to Gen Z, to young voters, to young people, to get them engaged back in the political process and to get them back in. And Carlos is founding this all across the nation. Super interesting. And here's what he had to say about this specific issue.
Young people don't want their tax dollars going to pay for a genocide, the killing of children and ethnic cleansing. And, that is something that even still to this day, many people in politics refuse to call it a genocide and refuse to say we won't send money and weapons to a government that's committing these atrocities. And that is where the political leadership gets so detached and politically from everyday people and everyday people's thoughts, right? When you have a political elite class that is so scared, right, to criticize Israel because of the real threat of AIPAC's money, you have a disconnect And what's crazy is that, AIPAC wanted Trump to win. They Netanyahu wanted Trump to win. And it's insane how the administration was purposely undermined and still, bear hugged Netanyahu.
Yeah, you're talking about the Biden administration. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, and again, it's because this PAC money and having these special interests dominate our politics. Politicians, would rather take a hit from their electorate than take a hit from these donors, and that is why the structure of our political system needs to be changed, and this is why we need to get big money out of politics. This is why it should be a litmus test to reject AIPAC money on no matter what political side of the spectrum you're running on.
And yet here the leaders of the Democratic Party refuse to meet that litmus test. Just crazy. By the way, if you'd like to hear the full conversation between Carlos and me, you can go to my Substack. Really interesting, and you can learn more about Disrupt. Really cool movement. Anyway, Chuck Schumer is saying openly to everybody that he wants to put Israel first, Israel before America. Hakeem is throwing literal temper tantrums about being asked about AIPAC and his donations. He refuses to say abolish ICE, as do many other Democrats in Congress, to include both of my senators, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, and many, many others. We know that ICE is essentially at this point a rogue terrorist organization that Senator Adam Schiff just revealed that they are stockpiling piles of arms. We know that they haven't been trained by their own internal counsel. There was recently a whistleblower that came out and said that they're just not even abiding by constitutional law. So we have these untrained thugs who are stockpiling weapons and arms. Gee, I wonder why that could be, Donald Trump. Anyone with a brain can see that this is extremely dangerous. And we also see that arguably one of the most dangerous psychopaths in the world, seriously, Peter Thiel, who hates the working class, is spying on all of us and wants to install J.D. Vance as the next dictator, is bankrolling some of these Democrats. This is a freaking nightmare. I seriously believe that Hakeem Jeffries is not fit. He is not fit, nor is he safe to be the next Democratic leader in Congress. He's not fit or safe right now. We are fighting Nazis. We cannot have leadership that is collaborating with the enemy. These people are truly compromised. They are not safe to lead us through this moment. Like, this is nuts. I would trust Thomas Massie over Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer at this moment in time. Our policies don't agree, but at least I know where he stands. He's not ducking and weaving and bobbing and like all over the place. He stands on business. Like, at least I know exactly where he is. Hakeem is just greasy and shady, and Chuck is all in on Israel first and has said that. And, we have so many wonderful progressive Democrats whom we can trust. I think about Ro Khanna. I think about Robert Garcia. I think about Pramila Jayapal, about AOC, and on the Senate side as well. Like, I could list some names there too, but we have people who are not compromised like so many others. I mean, this should be a layup for us right now. We do not have time to fuck around with Nazis. And, think about this. Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, a truly evil man in Netanyahu's cabinet, they wanted Trump to win. Now, why do you think that is? Vladimir Putin wanted Trump to win. And when you look at the center of the Epstein files, all circling around Jeffrey Epstein, he's in the center of all of these chess pieces. Right in the middle of that is Russia and Israel. And those two countries with their fascist dictatorial regimes wanted Trump in. So why in the Sam hell would anybody on the opposition party on the Democratic side be collaborating with the enablers of fascism and dictatorship? Why would they be collaborating with Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and all of these people who are actively destroying and dismantling democracy? Like, it's not a secret. Like, we know what they're up to. Okay. I mean, it just defies reason why we would have Hakeem Jeffries as the leader of the Democrats right now, when we have people who have integrity, who can lead us through this moment, this terrifying moment in history. And there's just no reason for it. And I need people to wake up. Like, it's a 5-alarm fire, y'all. We're running out of time. Donald Trump is going to actively try and steal the midterms. He's stockpiling ICE. He's going to send out his thug army on the streets. So we can't have people like Hakeem and Chuck leading us through this moment, because I think they're going to lead us into defeat. Truly. All right. It's really terrifying. And the only way we're going to get through it is with people who have integrity and aren't like playing footsie. You can't have one foot and pretend like you're fighting for democracy and give us bullshit word salad the way Hakeem Jeffries does every time he opens his mouth, and also have one foot in the camp with the Nazis and the fascists. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. This is a moment and a time for honesty and integrity. All right, that's all I got. I'm obviously fired up, but we all should be, because like, this is no joke. This is very dangerous. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you back here soon. Man, be fierce and start, acting like your life and our nation's life is on the line, because it truly is. So support progressives, spread the word, and make a big stink about what's going on our side of the party. The Republicans are gone. They're fascists. They don't care. They're anti-democracy, but we have to save the side that we're on. All right. I'll see you back here soon.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.